What if the child growing inside you did not belong to the man you loved? What if one night, one single, desperate night, changed the course of your entire bloodline? This is not a tale of shame. This is a tale of secrets buried beneath the baobab tree, and what happens when the earth refuses to keep them. Stay with me. Because by the end of this story, you will never look at silence the same way again. In the golden savanna lands of West Africa, nestled between two rivers that never ran dry, sat the village of Oluwasio, a name that means God has brought joy. The village was beautiful, proud, orderly. Every family knew their place. Every daughter knew her duty. The elders sat beneath the great mango tree each evening and watched the sun melt into the horizon like palm oil into warm rice. But beneath that beauty, something was always simmering. Because in Oluwasio, reputation was worth more than gold. And a woman's honor? It was worth more than her very life. This is where our story begins. In the dry season, when the harmattan blew secrets from house to house like dust. Her name was Chioma. She was 22 years old. Tall, graceful, with eyes that held the kind of intelligence that made old men nervous and young men speechless. Chioma was the daughter of the village headmaster. A man so respected, even the chief borrowed his wisdom. And so Chioma had grown up knowing one truth above all others. Do not disgrace this family. She was betrothed to Okeke, the good man. A farmer. Quiet. Steady. The kind of man who remembered your favorite fruit and brought it without being asked. Their wedding was 3 months away. Chioma was happy. Or close enough to happy that she had stopped questioning the difference. But fate, as the elders say, does not ask for your calendar before it arrives. It happened on the night of the Odwara festival, the great harvest celebration, when the entire village drank palm wine, danced until their feet forgot they were tired, and for one night, let the rules of the world grow loose. Chioma had gone to fetch water from the river before the celebration. The path was dark. The moon was hiding behind clouds. And then, a man appeared. He was not from Oluwasio. A traveler. A stranger passing through. He had a warm voice and a lantern that cut through the darkness like a kind word. He helped her carry the water. They talked. Laughed. And in that laughter, something dangerous happened. The moon stayed hidden. The village drums grew louder. And for one unguarded moment, Chioma forgot who she was supposed to be. By morning, the stranger was gone. By the next month, Chioma knew something was wrong. By the second month, she could no longer pretend. She was pregnant. And the child was not Okeke's. She sat alone behind her mother's kitchen for 3 days. She did not eat. She did not speak. She just held her own stomach and asked God a question he did not answer. What do I do now? Chioma made a decision. She would say nothing. The timing, she told herself, was close enough. Okeke would never know. She would marry him in 2 months, and the baby would arrive, and life would continue, and this secret would die with her. But secrets in a village like Oluwasio do not die quietly. Her mother noticed first. The way Chioma moved. The way she avoided certain smells. The way she prayed too long and too desperately each morning. Chioma, her mother whispered one night. Are you carrying? Chioma said yes. Her mother wept with joy. She thought it was Okeke's child, an early blessing from the ancestors before the wedding. She told the father. The father told the chief. The chief announced it at the community gathering as a sign of good fortune. And just like that, the secret grew legs. Okeke came to Chioma, eyes shining with pride. He held her hands. He said, Our child will be the greatest farmer in this region. I already know it. Chioma smiled. And inside that smile, she was screaming. Weeks passed. The wedding preparations began. The gifts arrived. The family celebrated. But Chioma could not sleep. She dreamed of the stranger every night. She dreamed of his lantern. She dreamed of the river. She dreamed of the moment her life split into two. The life she was supposed to live, and the one she was actually living. And then, one afternoon, a woman walked into Oluwasio. She was looking for someone. She said she was the wife of a traveler who had passed through 2 months ago. A man who had gone missing. And in her hand, she carried a cloth, a woven Kent cloth, with a pattern so specific, so rare, that only one family in all of West Africa made it. It was the same cloth Chioma had found tangled in the riverside grass the morning after the festival. She had kept it, hidden at the bottom of her clothes chest. She did not know why. Maybe some part of her always knew this day would come. The stranger's wife stood in the village square and wept. She said her husband had been found, alive, 2 towns away. And that before he disappeared, he had last been seen near a river. Near this river. Chioma stood at the edge of the crowd. Her hands were shaking. The cloth was in her chest. The baby was in her belly. And the truth was rising like floodwater. That evening, Chioma went to the stranger's wife. She did not plan to. Her feet simply carried her there, the way feet sometimes carry you toward the thing your mind refuses to choose. She sat across from this woman, Akua, her name was, and she looked at her. Really looked at her. Akua was tired. She was frightened. She loved her husband the way a river loves its banks, quietly, constantly, without drama. And in that moment, Chioma understood something the darkness had hidden from her that night at the river. The stranger had not been honest with her either. He had not told her he had a wife. He had not told her he had a family. He had lit his lantern and smiled his warm smile and let her believe she was safe. They were both victims of the same man's carelessness. Chioma opened her mouth. And for the first time in months, she told the truth. All of it. Akua did not scream. She did not curse. She sat very still, the way a woman sits when she has already survived so much that even shock has grown tired of visiting her. Then she said something Chioma never expected. The child is innocent. Whatever the father did, the child is innocent. And she reached across the space between them and held Chioma's hand. Chioma went home and told Okeke. She told him everything. He sat in silence for so long that the candle between them burned down to nothing. And when he finally spoke, his voice was low and broken and real. I need time, he said. He walked out. He came back 3 days later. He sat across from Chioma and said, I am angry. I will be angry for a long time. But I also know who you are. And I know this village will try to destroy you if I let them. So I am asking you, not promising you, but asking you, to let me decide what kind of man I want to be. He chose to stay. Not because it was easy. Not because the whispers stopped, they didn't. Not because the elders approved, some of them didn't. But because Okeke was the kind of man who understood that love is not a feeling. It is a decision you make again and again, even when it costs you. The baby was born 6 months later. A girl. They named her Naira, meaning blessing. And she was. The elders of Oluwasio had a saying. Aninwa Aechi Omogi, Yejuo. He who does not know, let him ask. But perhaps the deeper lesson of Chioma's story is this. Silence is not protection. It is a prison you build for yourself and then hand the key to fate. Chioma tried to carry what she could not carry alone. And it almost crushed her, not because she had made a mistake, but because she tried to make that mistake disappear instead of facing it. The moment she spoke the truth, to Akua, to Okeke, to herself, the weight did not vanish. But she could finally stand straight beneath it. The stranger's wife taught her something no elder ever had. That women who have been wronged by the same hand do not have to become enemies. They can choose to become witnesses for each other. And Okeke taught the village something rarer still. That a man's strength is not measured by how little he feels, but by what he chooses to do with everything he feels. In Oluwasio, they still tell this story. Not as a tale of shame, but as a tale of what happens when truth, however late, however frightening, is finally given a seat at the table. And there it is, beloved. The story of Chioma. The woman who carried the uncarryable, until she finally put it down. Now I want to hear from you. Was Okeke right to stay? Or would you have made a different choice? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and I promise you, this community's wisdom never disappoints. If this story moved you, if it made you think, if it reminded you of someone you know, please give it a thumbs up. It helps more people find these stories, and these stories deserve to be found. And if you are new here, welcome home. Subscribe and join our family. Every week, we bring you the ancient wisdom of Africa, wrapped in stories that breathe and live and stay with you long after the screen goes dark. The ancestors are still speaking. Are you still listening?